I'm back once again to tell you more about another album that I really, really like. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. This is, if I can see my chat real quick, just to make sure no one's blowing up the chat. You know how it is, because so many people watch this. Oh, speaking of which, cool things I've been doing around this area. If you look down in that area there-ish, there should be a branding thing that I've done, which is it's my logo. So that's pretty neat. I got my logo down there now. Did I name the stream? I believe so. Yeah, we're good. And hello to the one person watching. How are you doing today? Anyway, now that I've gotten that out of the way, everybody, welcome to the review of La La Land that I've been wanting to do for a very long time now. So I'm happy that I'm here. I'm happy you're here. So, without further ado, this is the soundtrack, not the score, two very different things, of the wonderful movie La La Land. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, probably. Purely because it brings back the whole golden age of Hollywood and the movies and the music of it. And most importantly, overindulgent jazz, which you can never have too much of unless you have too much of it. But anyway, this original motion picture soundtrack is 14 tracks, which is kind of surprising for one LP. But seeing as that a few of the songs are pretty short, some of them are repeats of each other because the same song shows up a few times during the movie, but I'll get into that. There is actually a box set that I was thinking about. It's got, what does it have? It's got this in it. It's got this, a bunch of other stuff, including the score on vinyl, the CD of the full collection. And it's all in order too, which is super neat. But I didn't feel like spending that much. I felt like spending about $23 on this. So let's get right into the packaging. The packaging is pristine, and I feel like if any dust gets near it, it will literally be tarnished for the rest of its existence. That's a good thing and a bad thing because I love when something looks super clean in a collection, but at the same time, I hate the fact that it looks super clean because that means it has a possibility of getting extremely not clean. So the front cover has our two main characters, Mia and Sebastian, which I definitely knew. I just wanted to make sure. Anyway, obviously, Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone are in this, if you could tell by that. This is actually a shot from pretty close to the end of the movie, I believe, from when the song Epilogue is playing, which is one of my favorites on it, and I'll definitely get to that. Anyway, this is the wonderful minimalist packaging that I truly hoped for. The back gives you a nice track listing, of course, and this is the only track listing you're going to get, except for the inside, which has a normal sleeve with a track listing with credits, of course, because you gotta give the credits and stuff to people. No lyrics, which, judging by the fact that only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, possibly 8, because one is humming. 7 out of the 14 songs are purely instrumental. The inside sleeve is the same as the cover. The vinyl is absolutely amazing. At the very beginning, I was a little worried, it sounded a little scratchy, but it got through a little bit of the first song, and my worries were then changed. But my only thing is about the actual physical copy itself is that there's no track listing on the label. I understand there may not have been enough space, but still, it would have been nice to see which songs were where, but hey, that's what we have the album packaging for, which I do not mind at all. That is totally alright. You do you, people who made this. Anyway, this is a record by, I believe, Interscope. Yes, Interscope Records. So, this completely outlines the entire movie, so, it goes straight from the very beginning, and I'm not going to go into detail about the movie, because if you're watching this, either one, you've seen the movie, or you know enough about it to know what I'm talking about, or 3, you have no idea what I'm talking about, and I will fill you in. A jazz singer, or someone who wants to be a jazz singer, or artist, is working at a restaurant playing the piano for tips, and an upcoming actress who cannot get any roles meets him at the restaurant, and they don't fall in love very quickly. They then see each other again at a party, and they eventually are like, okay, I'm gonna go home, and then they meet in the park and they dance, and it's a great number. It's so good. But then eventually they fall in love. He writes a song, and they meet at a planetarium way after hours, and somehow they're in space, but that's like I don't know, not actually in space, but like I don't know, it looks neat. But anyway, let's take a look, see here. Hmm. Um, After that, the movie then shifts to, oh, everything's so great, and then it's like, oh, well, they kind of have to sacrifice a few things for both of their dreams and stuff, and they cannot agree on anything. Sebastian, which is Ryan Gosling's character, goes and meets John Legend, who I forget what his name is in the movie, but he's like, yeah, we should definitely start a band or something, and it seems super cool. But then like he starts doing music, and Sebastian's like, no, no, I don't like this music. It doesn't have any meaning behind it. And then they eventually see each other again, and there's an engagement party involved at some point. I completely forget that. Emma Stone's character Mia, um, she ends up getting an audition. So she goes, she does an entire song for that, which is one of the songs on here. And she's walking around again. Had kind of forgot about him a little bit, and she sees that Sebastian finally opened up his jazz club that he'd been wanting to for a long time. And she walks in, he's sitting there at the piano, and what you think is happening is this long, like, everything's perfect from here on out and stuff. Like, if it started and they didn't really like each other at the beginning, well, imagine that, but if they did at the very first sight, it goes on from that standpoint. And it goes like, oh my gosh, their life's so perfect. There's a little montage at the end. It's super neat. Really, really well done. And then it cuts back to what's actually happening. And Sebastian had just for a good 2 minutes been playing this very sad, solemn, one-sided song on the piano that's very odd sounding and sad. And it turns out that Emma Stone's character is sitting with another man who is presumably her fiance or husband or whoever. And the movie ends. So it's like, hey, you know all that happy stuff that happens in the old movies? No. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of a sad ending. And I'm sorry if I just spoiled the entire movie, but it's been out since like what, 2016? Yeah, 2016. So you had ample time to watch it. So sorry. But anyway, this isn't about the movie. This is about the music. And the music is, oh boy, it is something else. It is so good. I remember I walked out of the theater and I downloaded it like almost as soon as I got home because it was so good. It was just completely out of the blue. I did not expect it to be this good. And finding it again at the store that I got it at, I was like, I need to listen to this again. But I thought, hey, I have a record player now. May as well get it on vinyl. So I did. Let's see here, actually. I want to find something. So, anyway, we're going to start from the very beginning. The very first song, Another Day of Sun, which is this big crowd number. Everyone's dancing on their cars and stuff, but again, this isn't about the movie, this is about the music. So anyway, starts off with a nice little piano thing going, and progressively builds, and then like multiple people have different parts, and it's really neat because it goes from like person to person to person, and then like in the movie at least, like they open up the back of this one trailer, and there's like because it's on a like highway or something. Everyone just got out of their cars and started dancing because apparently that's a common occurrence. Um, they get out of their cars and stuff and start dancing. They open up this trailer and there's just an entire like 5-piece band in it or something. And at this point, I'm like, what am I watching? But at the same time, I was really intrigued. So it really sets you up for the rest of the movie. Like, whoa, hold on, this movie actually has some good music, and that carries over into the next song, which is like so much of this is influenced by jazz, your typical large numbers in like a musical or something, and just well, not this time period music. Definitely earlier. I can't pin a certain year to it, but it is definitely taking influences from other time periods, and I really like that because if it can do that and not be like overly like, oh hey look, we're trying to emulate the 50s, let's get like every single 50s reference we can in here. No, first of all, it's not 50s, but if it was, it wouldn't be overdoing it. So and as I said, that carries over into the next song, which is Someone in the Crowd, which is, ooh boy, they're like, a lot of the songs have a long instrumental break, which usually I'm kind of against, but in this context, after seeing the movie, it made a lot of sense because this is the music doesn't really like. It's kind of like Baby Driver almost. If you've seen that, which I still have yet to. But anyway, um, the music carries the movie, and the movie carries the music. So like they kind of intertwine together, which is, well, it's usually what a movie with music does. But in this specific case, it uses the instrumental breaks really well. And well, seeing as this is a soundtrack, I'm going to judge this a lot differently than if I would if it was just an album by itself. And as the use of instruments in it, it's much different than an actual like full album of something. And I like this a lot, especially in context of the movie. So on to our first instrumental track, Mia and Sebastian's theme. You're going to be hearing this a lot during this movie. Very slow. It's actually what Sebastian plays at the. It's like part of a song he's trying to write or something, and he does part of it at his restaurant that he plays piano at. Except it's not his restaurant. But then his boss is like, "No, stop playing that music. I told you to play Christmas music because it takes place during Christmas." Well, that section at least. It takes place during a lot of different seasons, and that's evident of the names of the songs. But anyway, that song is a recurring motif, I guess I could say, through the album and, well, and the movie. And just the symbolic feel it has to it, in context of the movie, used again in the album in different ways. It doesn't overstay its welcome. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. So, anyway, the fourth song, my very favorite, which is A Lovely Night, which is with Ryan Gosling. Gosling? Is that Gosling? Gosling. Ugh, I don't like that. And Emma Stone. Anyway, I really like this song because it exemplifies the fact that they really don't both like each other, but then they end up, well, if you watch the movie, they just start randomly dancing in a park, which obviously, well, they do. So, it's supposed to be like, oh, we're not in love song, even though they obviously are, and the entire audience is just like, yes, you are, but they don't realize it. And it's kind of neat because there's like a little bit of bickering in it, but it's neat. It's really neat. And there's this one line that I'm obsessed with, and she says something about him wearing his polyester suit, and then he quickly interjects, "It's wool," and I don't know why, that just makes me laugh every time. And I'm not usually one to listen to like comedy songs or something like Hayward Burns, I guess that would be a good example. Is that his name, Hayward Burns? The guy who sings Toast or something. I don't know, but like Bo Burnham, just a bunch of different people who do comedy music. I could never listen to that in musical sense, really. But I don't know, just like the quick interjections are, I can't talk, are just neat in terms of the song, so I like that. So on to our, I believe, second um, instrumental of the album. This is Herman's Habit, which is where Mia and Sebastian. I'm pretty sure this is when this happens. They go to a jazz club, and he describes why he loves jazz so much, and all that jazz, I guess you could say, quite literally. But he's like, you see why I like this music, and he doesn't go like deep into like the music theory of it because it's a movie. But anyway, he goes into like the symbolic theory of it, and well, that's neat, and this certain piece is played as he describes it from what I remember the movie. It's been forever since I've seen it. I really need to watch it again. But well, sorry, one sec. I'm trying to find something out about this because it's gonna kill me if I don't find out like for sure which one it is. Yeah, I'm yeah, I looked it up on like the synopsis or whatever because I have the track listing right here and the synopsis as well. So I'm trying to keep everything in terms of the movie. But yes, this is that section from what I looked at. So it could very well not be. So can't blame me. Anyway, I mean, yeah, you actually could blame me, but let's not get into that. So this is the very first time we see City of Stars on this album, one of three times. I'm I'm gonna be honest, I got a little tired of it in listening to, but not the movie. I didn't get tired of it in the movie, probably because I was so excited to see it. But anyway, this is like the bare bones version of City of Stars. This is just Ryan Gosling singing it, and he's on a pier. I'm pretty sure he's walking along, and it's like dusk ish. He's singing this to himself, and like there's a light piano in the background, and it just sounds really, really good. Like even at the base core of what the song is, it sounds really good, even when it's just him. And later on, we actually get to hear it with, well, Emma Stone, and then eventually just Emma Stone humming it, which is the very last song, but I'll get into that later. Number seven, the last song rounding out side one, and kind of, well, rounding out act one of the movie, sort of, is Planetarium. Planetarium is an amazing instrumental piece. I love it so much. And it does show up later again in the album. Um, I don't know what it is. I guess it's just like the strings section, and it does like a really good job with, well, just about everything. I mean, they don't like overblow their dynamics. They don't like do anything weird. I mean, it's not like it's a predictable song, but it's not like a song that you'd be like, okay, that's way out of the box. But it fits the moment in the movie, which when you're listening to it by itself, it's a little weird to think about it separately, but you kind of have to for this at least. So I'll try my best to do that. So side two, starting off side two, is Summer Montage, also known as Madeline, Mata something. I'm just gonna say Madeline. I'm only saying Madeline because that's like a French pastry of some sort. They're really good. They're really good. Like seriously. Anyway, I'll get into pastries later. So the summer montage is one of the. I'm pretty sure it's one of the shorter songs, and as I said, it takes place during different seasons. And in this song, again, it's a montage song, so you're not gonna expect anything super crazy. But hey, I think it's good for the situation. So in this case, for the summer montage, it's just I almost called Mia Emma because that's her actor. Anyway, Mia and Sebastian walking around, having a good time and stuff, just getting to know each other more than they already have. And then eventually, it's your typical montage song, but of course in the style of this movie, which is purely instrumental and perfect and wonderful and whimsical and very old Hollywood esque. But that brings me to the next song, which is, guess what? City of Stars is back with the same title, just with different people. This one has Emma Stone in it, And her characterization during this song is just so good because like she fits into the narrative and the song very well at that moment in time. That well, like you can hear it in her voice. She chuckles a few times throughout the song, like I can't believe I'm actually singing this song with Sebastian or something like that. I don't know. She doesn't say that, but like it's just kind of implied. But I I do like this version of the song very much. Not as much as the humming one, but in terms of again the narrative and the song combined, what's going on in the movie fits very well. And of course, there's an extra added verse. I'm pretty sure, which getting to hear more of a song that you already liked earlier on is really neat, and it kind of like builds upon itself as it goes on. And I don't know, just as like a theme for the movie, even though Mia and Sebastian's theme does come up multiple times. Um, I feel like this song really exemplifies the feel of both this album and this movie because they kind of have the same sort of feel to it because, you know, it's the music for the movie. So, anyway, the next song, which is, as I said, when Sebastian goes with the producer to do his own kind of music. Oh, I remember what it was now. John Legend, or whoever he plays in the movie, has Sebastian in the background playing some sort of synthesizer piano thingy because he knows how to play piano super well, and that's kind of like a staying point the of the movie. And they use that in this. I really don't like the song, but I think that was the whole point of it, really, because you're not supposed to like it necessarily because it's like the antagonist sort of Sebastian's character is like he doesn't want to be like super mainstream, like all this boring, meaningless music with lyrics that don't connect to people. He he didn't like that, and because he's involved in a band that plays songs like that, he didn't like it. So I feel like the song wasn't meant to be liked because it's your typical pop song and it sticks out really oddly in this album. But again, I think that was the point in terms of the narrative of of this movie because it's supposed to stick out like that. So then comes the engagement party and at least I'm trying not to sneeze. It's taking everything in me. Anyway, the engagement party. Again, another instrumental piece. I'm at least 80% sure this is where um, they see each other again. Um, and Sebastian is playing for like a cover band that's at the party, and it's kind of awkward because you know they're playing like songs from like the let's say I don't want to say 80s. Again, I don't remember very much of this, so I'm trying to go off what I think of. But Engagement Party has the same sort of idea as Mia and Sebastian's theme once again, because as I said, that is a recurring song throughout the entire album. So I'm glad it's kind of a shorter part of the album because it really, I mean, it needed to come back for the narrative, but in terms of the album, I don't know if he needed it, but that's all right. So track number 5 on side 2 is the audition finally, and this is where everything, well, almost everything, at least for Mia, has been leading up to. It's her first big audition, and she takes inspiration from one of her family members, and that's evident in the lyrics. But well, not her herself. I mean, like her character, and that's neat that she uses that as a jumping off point to go into the rest of the song because it's. I'm not gonna say it's catchy because it's not catchy, but it is actually a really good song that then comes back again in the very next song, Epilogue, which is a 7-minute long piece, which is completely instrumental. And it is wonderful. And it's kind of like a medley of like all the songs, sort of. And at this point, um, Mia had gone to Sebastian's new club thing or whatever. She's like, wow, this is really something. Except it's like the fake flashback sort of, where like everything's perfect, and then and the epilogue is where everything kind of comes together for both of them. It's like, oh my gosh, they're gonna be together forever, and then it's like, oh, everything's so wonderful, and then it kind of cuts off for a second. It goes in this like super like mind blowing trumpet solo, and then that breaks off into once again one of my favorite instrumental tracks on this Planetarium, except it's a like a choir kind of singing it, sort of like not singing lyrics, but like vocalizing the notes that correspond with their voice parts. And I don't know why, but just all of it climaxing in that at the same point that the movie is doing the same. That is some good writing in terms of the movie, but also some good writing in terms of the soundtrack, in terms of timing, because it was just perfect. And then it goes like a little kind of like a slow like ragtime version of City of Stars once again. And that's when they're in a movie theater, both Sebastian and Mia, watching their lives go by, and they have a child, and it's really cute because there's like a whole montage of it. Except it's just got this nice little version of City of Stars in the background on piano. And then that kind of fades into like a very slow, like not very complex piano song or something. And it cuts back to Sebastian playing that song on the piano and saying, thank you, sorry, I just had to play that or something. Because he saw her and she saw him, but he didn't want to acknowledge it because it turns out she was actually with someone else already because things hadn't worked out, and they just kind of go on to regret it for the rest of their lives. And that's when the movie ends. So I mean, it kind of sucks because it's supposed to be like this old Hollywood sense of whimsy and love and stuff like that. But then they're like, no, let's absolutely crush that because it's 2016. So it ends off the movie on a sad note, I must say. But it is made up for in track number 7 of side 2, which is the very last song. I'm sorry. But the City of Stars humming version with Emma Stone, I don't know why, but I just really like it because again, it's the City of Stars version with both Sebastian and Mia, except it's just humming with a different instrumental in the background. It's like slightly different. It's just different enough that it's not the same thing. But oh my gosh, if that isn't one of the best sounding songs that is just humming. Because if you can make a song sound good with just humming, you know you're doing something right. You know you're doing something right if you're able to do that. And just like that, the album is over. The movie's over. The whole thing is over. La La Land is over. I'm sad. Anyway, well, this has been the original motion picture soundtrack of La La Land, not the score, completely different things. So, thank you all once again for that. Thank you to the one person watching right now. Hello. I'm just kind of looking over here at my screen. But anyway, merch is coming in soon. The pins are going to be here sometime either between now and the 17th. So I'm really holding out. I'm really trying over here. But anyway, I'm happy that I was able to do this because I definitely wanted to set aside a time to do this. It just happened to be a little bit later. But I'm happy that I got to do this one because this movie was really, really good, and so was the soundtrack. And I just have a lot of connections to this sort of thing. So I'm happy I got to talk about it specifically with you guys because you guys like watching me, I think, and I like when you guys watch me because that's fun. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys again. This has been the original motion picture soundtrack of one of my favorite movies of all time, La La Land, featuring Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. So, thank you all again, and I shall see you next time for probably giving you your merchandise. So yeah, bye everyone.